Welcome back to London Self-Defense Academy. This is Andre. Today we're gonna be looking at beginner's knife defense techniques. So this is for all of you who need to understand how to behave in these situations, how to get away, how to defend yourself if you see or are faced with someone with knife. So because we have international subscribers, there will be different rules for carrying or not be allowed to carrying any weapons with you. Please do search these in your individual countries and educate yourself in terms of what is allowed for you, what kind of self-defense weapons you can and cannot use. Okay, so carrying knife in the United Kingdom is illegal. You can get up to 4 years in prison for that. Potentially more if you actually harm someone with that. So the issue here is you will never know if someone's got a knife. This can happen at any moment. You don't actually know. The only thing you can do is to try to keep a safe distance before he pulls it out. But you have to be thinking in terms that potentially if you're having an argument that could potentially turn up into be physical, they can have a weapon with them. So you have to be pre-thinking and just being away before anything like that happens, because when we get into this pushing and shoving, you know, kind of like, hey, oh yeah, well, you know what, and then suddenly he's got it there, and look, he's being nice, but what do you think he's gonna do? He's just gonna stab me. And do you think he's gonna stab once? He's just gonna keep going, right? This is really massive issue. You could end up being stabbed once and die. You can be stabbed 15 times and not die, but you just can't take these chances. Now, what areas you have to avoid in being cut or stabbed into? Obviously, we're talking about the major organs. It might be difficult to get through the rib cage, but still you've got your heart and lungs, the throat, and right here, your major arteries, that if they cut, you bleed out in a second. Let's look into what you can actually physically do. We're talking about safe distance in here. If I'm too close to him, there is nothing I can do. I will not even see the knife. If I keep a safe distance and I potentially see him pulling it out, my elbow is in the right place, my hand is right here. Look at him, he's trying to create some space so he can move. However, I'm blocking that space and I'm already right here, elbowing. And then when it comes to knife altercations, you have to be comfortable with the terms that you will get cut. No one is Bruce Lee, okay? And even if you trained for a million years, it doesn't really matter. You will still get cut if you're fighting someone with a knife. However, if you get cut on your hand somewhere here, you will survive. But this is nothing that you can potentially really incur serious danger in. So what I'm trying to do in here is get there before he pulls out the knife. The only way I can do this, I have to keep my safe distance and I have to be looking at his chest, never at his eyes, because that's gonna disturb me and potentially scare me. Now, when I see him moving, the chances me grabbing his hand are very slim. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm reaching for his elbow in here and then sliding down whilst elbowing him in the face. And then, of course, you always have to end up with a knife. The last thing you want is him on the ground throwing it to your back or something like that. So as you can see, it is never perfect, and you will not be able to get your perfect technique that you maybe have been training for many, many years. It's always going to be where your hands end up. You can see that we were trying to do this, and then we ended up under, locking his arm in here. Honestly, it is life-threatening situation, and you're just going to do the best you can. And please do remember, if you can run away, never stay there trying to fight anyone with knife. Get out of there. If you see anyone with knife or anyone reaching to the back, just start running, just leg it. That is the best chance you will have to actually succeed in fighting by not fighting anyone with knife. That is the best way. Okay, so now we have a situation where someone is already, they just pulled out a knife and then trying to stab you in the belly, okay? Now, how can you block it? Yes, sure, if he's stabbing, you can try to avoid it this way or you try to avoid it this way. However, he's just gonna keep coming back. This is an issue, right? He's never gonna stab me once and then he may start slashing as well, right? What we do, we have to be successful on the first strike. I'm turning my hand this way. However, if it's on a real situation, I'm gonna be going bone to bone. So I'm gonna try to strike right here and then keep this locked Okay, so when he's moving back, he cannot. However, I'm still in vulnerable position because he can punch me with the other arm. So I'm not standing here. As soon as I block it, I move to the side and I'm just getting him down to the ground and getting the knife away. So look, I'm striking right here. This is a bone strike to right this vulnerable area. It's gonna hurt, right? So I'm already in a good position. I have to make sure I lock this, okay? So I'm moving this together and then I've got grip on his hand. If I don't do that, he's just gonna pull back, yes? Now, if I do that and he's trying to pull back, it's difficult for him. However, that is getting straight in my face. So I have no time to waste in here. As soon as I locked it in, I get a grip, I'm moving to the side, breaking his wrist, getting him down to the ground, taking the knife away, always ending up with that knife. Okay, so there are various ways that people can attack you with knife. It's not just a stabbing, but it's also slashing. We will now look into things that can help you to defend yourself if someone is slashing you with a knife. There is no way you can predict or know how he's gonna do it. At this point, as we said, if you can run away, get out of there. Don't be in this situation trying to figure out what he's going to do. He could, for what I know, he could have 2 knives. And then what are you gonna do? Yes, we talked about stabbing already. However, I don't know if he's gonna stab or slash right now, okay? And do you think he's gonna wait like this? He's being a good friend. But if he's gonna go for it, this is what I'm faced with. So yes, you can back off, but there is only a certain amount of time that you will have. If Sam is really trying to slash me now, this is not rehearsed, okay? If he's going full speed, I've got nothing. I stop the knife in here, and this is how it ended up, okay? So you can see whatever technique you think you're gonna do may not work. I got cut in the belly, however, I got it right here. This is very, very lucky for me, okay? From here, I can go with the back elbow or break his arm right here, take the knife away and get out of there. And then obviously I'll have to go to the hospital to get some stitching, but the chances are I probably didn't die. But this is how it goes. If you have it rehearsed and he's going right here, I'm stopping it here, or I'm trying to guess his rhythm to just get there, that looks lovely. But the reality of it, if it's not, it's so hard to succeed. But look, this was me being passive. If you're going for speed and you're active, you have to be determined that you're gonna save your life and you're gonna get out of there with maybe a little injury, but you're not gonna die. So if he's going for it, you can see if you're really determined, there is a very different outcome. And it shows up in my body language and also in his body language. We don't want to be doing this too much because we don't want to get injured. I don't want to, hurt Sam, or Sam doesn't want to hurt me because he can also. But this is the reality of it, okay? So yes, of course, you can try to block, but your determination in the situation and your focus will be the key element to succeeding in this situation. Okay guys, so thank you for watching. We try to make this video as realistic as it can be because it will never be perfect, but you will try to do your best you can. Now remember, if you can run away, get out of there. Don't stay in such a dangerous situation where you could potentially get seriously hurt or die. So if you can run, please do. These are only examples of what the possibilities could be in terms of defending yourself. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. If you got any comments, put them down below, and we'll see you next time.